Hey my friends, what is good? Derek here from Bomb Socks with more Bomb Bites, where we feast upon the words of Christ one bite at a time. I want to get into one of my favorite stories, and it's such a good one. We're going to spend 2 days in this one with a couple different principles here. It is the story of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in Daniel chapter 3. If you're a VeggieTales fan, you know it as Rack, Shack, and Benny. I mean, it's a great story. To give you the context here, you've got Nebuchadnezzar, who, again, seems to just vacillate back and forth. He's just like, your God is awesome. And he's like, no, wait, I'm awesome. He's like, I'm awesome enough to create a 90-foot statue made of gold of myself. And this is the context of chapter 3, is you've got the statue that's been built, and everybody is commanded. In fact, when you hear all the music, it lists all of the instruments in there. When you hear the music, you bow down and you worship this particular 90-foot golden image of King Nebuchadnezzar, right? And if you worship, everything is great. Here's the problem. The consequence is verse 6. Whoso falleth not down to worship shall the same hour be cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. Like I said, Nebuchadnezzar's crazy, right? Very impulsive in his behaviors. And so you've got our heroes in the story, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, or Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah as we knew them in Jerusalem. But what we've got here is verse 12, where it says, certain Jews whom thou hast set over the affairs of the province of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, these men, O king, have not regarded thee. They serve not thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. Then Nebuchadnezzar, in his rage and fury, those are two emotions that were very familiar to him, commanded to bring Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And they brought these men before the king. Nebuchadnezzar spake unto them, is it true, O Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? Do not ye serve my gods, nor worship the golden image which I have set up? Now, I love verse 16, because you've got these three who it says, O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this matter. Meaning, look, we're not just going to try to tell you what you want to hear. We are children of the covenant, and we want to stay true to that covenant. That statue, we are not going to bow down to it. If it be so, our God, whom we serve, is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of thine hand, O king. But if not, be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. Now, these two verses are going to kind of play part in 2 episodes. One of them is powerful enough that I'm going to talk about it for the whole episode tomorrow. One of them I want to focus on here is verse 17, where it says, our God whom we serve is able. I love that phrase. It's like, our God is able. Able is an interesting word. Able means having the power, skill, means, or opportunity to do something. It's like, we know he can do this. That is faith in the Lord Jesus Christ. That is what faith in God is. We know he is able to do this. One of my favorite hymns is called Guide Us, O Thou Great Jehovah. You usually hear it in General Conference. One of the phrases is, we are weak, but thou art able. That to me is such a powerful phrase. Nephi understands this back in 1 Nephi chapter 4, where they're supposed to go back and get the plates. That's a very difficult thing to do. Verse number 3, it says, let us go up. The Lord is able to deliver us, even as our fathers. The Lord is able, okay? He is the same yesterday, today, and forever. The same God who helped Moses part the Red Sea, who helped Nephi, is the same God that helped Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego get saved from the fiery furnace. Spoiler alert, right? Most of us know this story. So I want to take you just kind of through the rest of the story here. Verse 19, Nebuchadnezzar was full of fury. The form of his visage was changed against Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Therefore he spake and commanded that they should heat the furnace 7 times more than it was wont to be heated. Basically, crank up the heat on this one because he's angry. He commands the most mighty men to go bind them, get these men in their coats, and so they don't get hurt. But verse 22, because the king's commandment was so urgent, the furnace was exceedingly hot. The flame of the fire slew those men that took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And these 3 men fell down, bound into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. And Nebuchadnezzar was astonied. I love that word. It's the same as astonished, maybe just an older version of it. But he rose up in haste and spake and said to his counselors, did we not cast 3 men bound into the midst of the fire? They answered and said unto the king, true, O king. And then he's like, then why do I see 4 men walking in the midst of the fire that have no hurt. Now, the footnote there takes you over to some beautiful verses in Psalm 91. I would recommend reading them. But as you go through there, it talks about how the Lord will deliver you. He is able to do these things. But they had no hurt. And the form of the fourth is like to the Son of God. And you picture them. You've got Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and Jesus Christ in the midst of this fire. And I love this, verse 27, how it says, as they came out of this fire, the fire had no power, nor was an hair of their heads singed. Anybody who owns a barbecue knows that you can singe pretty easily. Neither were their coats changed, nor the smell of fire had passed on them. Which is interesting, is because you sometimes walk past a campfire, you're going to smell like it, right? Nebuchadnezzar spake, and he said, blessed be the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who hath sent his angel and delivered his servants that trusted in him. And I love how it says they yielded their bodies that they might not serve nor worship any god except their own God. Verse 29, therefore I make a decree that every people, nation, and language which speak anything amiss against the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego shall be cut into pieces, and their houses shall be made a dunghill, which shows you again the impulsive nature of Nebuchadnezzar, because there is no other God that can deliver after this sort. As you're watching this, I want you to know that our God is able to do all things. Now, here's the problem. What happens when he doesn't? Now, that's what I want to talk about next time with three of the most important words, I believe, in this chapter. So make sure you jump in tomorrow and check that out. But I love this story, but it's powerful enough for me that I want to give a second part to this episode because there's powerful principles taught in this story. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And thanks for sharing these messages. We love that you do that. Check out our amazingly comfortable gospel-themed socks at bombsocks.com, and we will see you tomorrow. Godspeed. Bye-bye.